Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be doing a new video, and we will be cleaning out the stalls in the barn, going to the cafe, and then we will be going on a nice long trail ride at Dundle Stables. Today's video might be a little bit longer than normal, but I hope nobody minds too much. What are you waiting for? Let's get straight into it. So this morning I was doing the most basic barn chores you can imagine. I was mucking out stalls, and then the horses were really thirsty, so they all needed their water buckets filled up, which I was happy to oblige to do. Then I got some hay from a hay bale outside, and I filled up their hay racks and their hay nets, and they were really happy to be fed this morning, so I'm happy I was able to get out there bright and early to fill their things up for them. After that, I went to the cafe at the Red Shark, and they had some new items on their menu, and they were really interesting, so I decided to go and try them out. I sat at the table, and eventually the waiter came over to take my order. I ordered a classic coffee and then 2 new macaroons off of their menu. I received my coffee first, and it was pretty good. It was just your casual black coffee. I put some extra sugar and some creamers in there just to spice things up a little bit. And then I got my macaroons. This one was a fish macaroon. It was interesting, and I wasn't too sure of it, but I just ended up ordering a lemon one. I gave my compliments to the chef, and then I headed back out to the barn. I walked back across the northern bridge and back to the stables to go check my mailbox. When I looked inside my big red box, there was a letter in there that I'd never seen before. It was from my boss, and it was labeled vacation. When I opened the letter, there was some great news. It said, "You have worked with us for many years, and they have been quite the experience. We could have not asked for a better trainer and leader. We hope the time you spent with us was not wasted and that you had a good experience. Your years of training has done Golden Hill Stables good, and we are pleased to present you with a day-long trail ride in the beautiful forest of Dundle. A horse will be waiting for you, and we hope the Mistfall Rangers treat you as well as you've treated us. New Hillcrest Stables will be lucky to have you there, and we wish you the best luck at school. Best regards, Golden Hill Stables." I couldn't believe the news. I was so excited. I had been wanting to go here all summer long, and now I had a free trip out. So I immediately waved bye to the barn, and then I packed up my little car. First, I packed up my side, and then I put my helmet in the passenger seat, and then we were off. We started off at the stables, went past the Cape West Fishing Village, continued on our quest, and we went past Jasper's Farm, then to the riding hall. Then after that, we went up to the Silverglade Winery. It's very beautiful there and very scenic. We were halfway there whenever we had to stop for Steve's Farm to get gas. I had to make sure I had enough to get to Mistfall and then back home. So I filled up the tank, everything was good, and once again we started off on our journey. From Steve's, we went past the granary, over the bridge of Starshine, through the apple grove, and then we were almost there. We arrived at Dundle. We had to go past this lovely little area called Burke's Grange. It's new, I've never been there before, but I'm excited to go back there this summer. When we arrived there, the first thing that I did was I went and I talked to one of the Mistfall Rangers to see where I needed to go. They directed me to go back to the stables, so that's where I went, and there were a bunch of horses waiting there for me. There was 3. There was a black Mustang, a Connemara, and a gray Clydesdale. The Connemara was really cute, but honestly, I was looking for something more lazy so I could have a lovely, relaxing day, and that is what made me pick the Clydesdale. The Clydesdale was very cute, and he had the cutest name of all. His name was Walrus. I picked Walrus, and I led him out of the little arena to go tie him up and to get him tacked and ready. I then tied my good buddy Walrus up using a simple slip knot. Then I threw on a saddle pad that they gave me. They have some really nice equipment here for the tourists. Then I threw on a saddle. It's really cool. It has a really nice horn on it. And then I packed up my saddlebag. It was just a plain brown saddlebag, but the food in there was amazing. I put in some bread and some cheese so that I could make myself some sandwiches later when I was hungry on the trail. Before I came to Dundle, I had grabbed an old dusty cowboy hat out of the back of my closet. When I had asked the stable manager if it was okay, he wasn't quite so sure. He said in the rulebook that it says that the tourists have to wear helmets for safety purposes and liability reasons, so I had to unfortunately swap out my really cool hat for a practical helmet. We then went up to the original station, and I waited to be picked up by my instructor for the trail ride. just a safety guide, so that way I would know the classic trails to go. And then whenever he came to pick me up, we were off. So we just did some walking, trotting. He showed me the basics. He showed me the way that the horse neck reins. And it was just a lot of fun. I got to talk to him. I learned a lot about his job, what he does every day. And when he showed me the ropes, I waved goodbye. And he was off on his own thing to go pick up the next student. So then I started off on the trail by myself. And this is when I really started to have some fun. We did some normal trotting, a little bit of cantering on the trail. He has this really cute uphill gallop, and we went on this new trail called the Peregrine Trail. It's named after a bird that lives in the area. I dismounted at a camping spot, and I grabbed my food out of my saddlebag, and I bent over to lay out my blanket so I could have a nice long picnic. The food I made was really good. As you can see, I definitely overpacked. I even snuck in a slice of cake. But this is when the most amazing part of the entire trail ride happened. So we were casually walking along on the way back when he stopped, shook his head, backed up, and then he just kind of freaked out. He spun around really fast, he reared a little bit, and he just galloped straight on for it. I was so confused because I had no idea what happened, and that's whenever I saw the culprit. The little rat just so happened to be a gray mule deer that was native to the Furfall, Mistfall area. He just seemed to be having a fun time bouncing around, hopping, but I guess Walrus isn't so sure of animals that are as nearly as big as him. I think he's kind of like an elephant, and the deer might have been something like a mouse in his mind. I trotted him up. He was a little unsure, so I gave him a pat on the neck, and then he looked around. He was kind of aloof still. But then we, nice and calmly, continued on with our trail ride after the deer had left. As you can see, he was no longer there. And that's when things started to go in the right direction again. So we then went out to go get some water as he was still a little shaken up from the whole deer incident. And when we stopped, he took a few big gulps of water, and then I got in to splash around for a little bit. Having your boots filled with water is not a nice feeling. Unfortunately, after my fun ride, we had to call it a day. I tied Walrus back up and I took off my saddlebag. Then I pulled off my saddle, and after that, I pulled off my saddle pad. I love the equipment they use, and honestly, I didn't know Western saddles could be so comfortable. I then led Walrus back out to his pasture where all of his buddies were, and I gave him a big pat for being such a good boy on our trail ride. I waved goodbye, took off my helmet, and I thanked the stable manager for letting me have such an amazing vacation day with his Clydesdale. I then started the long journey back to Golden Leaf Stables. It was really sad. I wish I could have stayed longer. Maybe I'll come back sometime this summer and visit the Berks Grange area. But unfortunately, things have to end at some point, so we started the long trip home. It was a bumpy ride, if you can't tell by the video, but I'm happy to be back now. Here are some of my favorite pictures that I took whenever I was at Dundalk. The stable manager awarded me because I had found this really interesting gray fox. It's really cute. And then I took this lovely picture of the village. And I got this really cool picture of this butterfly. I don't know what species it is. And finally, I got this picture of this blue toad that was sitting on the rocks whenever I was splashing the water. I would like to thank you all so much for staying and watching the whole way throughout this video. I had a really fun time creating this, and I hope you come back to watch some more. If you feel like I am worthy of it, feel free to click the like button and turn on the bell notification buttons as I try to post every weekend. I hope you come back soon, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye! I would also like to give a huge shout out to Chloe Diamondsea and Luna Volcano Dawn for playing the two horses that were in the pasture in this video.